Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Crane with HouseMaster Home Inspections. We have a servicing area that's in the north central part of Pennsylvania. For those you might be familiar with Williamsport, we're in that area. Today we're in a home that has a heat source that is provided by a gas-fired cast iron boiler. The boiler, as you see here, is relatively new. It's installed, it's 2013, and we do determine that. We can look at the data plate and get some key information regarding its function, how old it is, and what it does. This boiler is, as I said, is a hot water system. It provides a baseboard hot water heat throughout the house. It's gas-fired, and we can tell that by we have a gas servicing line here with a proper shutoff valve, and you notice a key element down here is the drip leg that should be installed in any gas-fired appliance. This system, as I said, will provide heat throughout the house through a radiant system of hot water. And water is one of the elements in our environment that, heated or cooled, will expand. To address that issue, as this is heated, the water will expand, and to keep the system from being damaged, you'll see back here that there's an expansion tank. As we inspect this system, we want to make sure this expansion tank is in place, and then we're going to check the connections to make sure that there's no discharge there, no evidence of water being pushed through the system or over expanding or pressurizing the system. And in this case, you can see this is in very good condition. As we start going through the process, we're going to start looking at the feed lines here that have proper shutoff valves, pressure valves and regulators, a manifold, and then we'll come over to this system here. You'll see a series of 3 circulating pumps. The 3 pumps that are here in this line indicate that the house probably has 3 zoned heat areas. Each of those pumps will provide heat into those individual areas and is regulated by a thermostat. And that thermostat relays to this relay system here, that when those systems are operating on, you'll see I have an indicator here of telling you what zone is operating. And then you'll also be able to feel that the pumps will be working because hot water will be pumping through it, and you'll actually have a slight vibration. We notice on these circulating pumps that they have shutoff valves on each side. That is important because in the event that you have to replace one of these valves this pump, you can take these valves, close them, remove the pump without losing water pressure, and then replace the pump. That's just a nice feature, really nice on a newer system. As we come down through this system, we also see this is a high efficiency model. Basically, it's got a power activated venting system that actually pumps air out, allows it to combust in a little better fashion, and draws fresh air in from another intake on this side. That fresh air in, power vented exhaust, creates a better, more economical firing process and provides a more efficient heat. As we come to the front of the unit, these are distribution lines that are also tied into your regulators and your pumps. And these valves are simply here as a way of maintaining the system. You can drain the system, which, as we look at this, this system you'd probably want to have serviced on an annual basis, flush the water, because of the contaminants that do get into water and build up that can affect the efficiency of the system. Now, overall, when we do inspect this, one of the first things we're doing is just that general overall look. We're looking for anything that might cause a leak, any pressure, any anomaly that might occur. And in this case, this is in very good shape. Again, the system hasn't been installed only maybe for a year or so. So we look at the system, you'll see the front of it has your control valves and pressures that are in the system, temperature, hot water temperatures, on and off switches, etc. One of the things we will do when we inspect this is we will remove the cover if it can safely be done and not damage the unit, and gently set that aside. And as we look in here, these components are very technical now, but we can see the condition of the water jacket, which is the important part. That stores the hot water and pumps it through the heating system. And you want to make sure as you look in there, we want to look back to see that the connections are made. There's no leaks, no evidence of cracking in the manifold that controls the hot water. The water jacket seems to be in good shape here. Your connections look good. Then your gas valve has a shutoff where you need to have the shutoff on the gas valve to provide service to the unit. Again, we do find some things. You may find some rust and things like that of drips that can probably occur over time with some condensate, or it may even be just when they were servicing or installing the unit, some water dripped down. On this day, everything is clear and dry, and the system seems to be operating well, and that would be what we would expect with a new unit. So we're going to replace the cover now. In running this system, what will happen a lot of times is condensate will be generated, especially in high efficiency power vented units. They will create a lot of condensate because the exhaust temperatures tend to be quite much cooler, and as they meet with cold air, they'll form some water. To combat that, these units are equipped with a condensate pump that collects. It's a condensate reservoir on the one side that will collect that condensate as it drains out, and once it rises, there's a pump in there that switch comes on, turns and pumps your condensate out through a system and discharges it properly to the exterior. Okay, as you can see now, we've gone and raised the thermostats to call on the system to provide heat. We've indicated here zone 3 has activated, and one of the things you will hear is the power ventilator here will actually turn on prior to the ignition of the boiler, simply because it's a way that it takes out any kind of combustible gases that might have collected in the unit and it discharges them before it fires the unit. So it is a safety feature that exhaust valve or exhaust fan comes on before it actually ignites. And in a little bit, you'll actually hear the boiler kick on and start heating water. And at that point, we can see it in zone 3. So I can feel that vibrating now. So I know that zone 3 is this valve here, the circulating pump here, and we can tell that it's pumping water, and now it's distributing water to that area of the house that's identified as zone 3. And we would repeat that process for zones 1 and 2 to make sure that heats to each area of the house. With this system, you will see here a red-plated switch. It's your gas burner emergency switch. It's an emergency shut-off switch that is very important in the operation of the system, in that if you ever have an issue with this system, you simply flip this switch down and it shuts the entire system down. This concludes my inspection of a gas-fired, high-efficiency cast iron boiler.